welcome everybody. We're going to actually today look at a round 2 game of, it was the 12th for the 5th 2013 match, obviously between Attack Fire and Serious Gamers. Now, Attack Fire is kind of like a make-play game, and then you get Serious Gamers that kind of looks like a serious name, but we'll see how it kind of turns out as such. So we have Attack Fire Giant, or Attack Fire Giant, what should I say? They've picked up Poseidon, Bakasura, which is a strange pick that I haven't seen in quite a while actually. Vulcan, Cupid, and Guan Yu. I'd quite like to see what Bakasura is going to do. Maybe they'll use some like jungling tactics with him. Obviously, he's a very quick jungler, so it could work out nicely for that way. We do have, obviously, for Serious Gamers, a quick turret there going out by Vulcan. Serious Gamers have picked up Neef, Barkus, Kali, Sobek, and Freya. So we're going to probably get a Neef, Poseidon mid again, as we had yesterday. We had, well, the same again for, actually, do you know what? I can't remember who played yesterday. So other than that, so gonna get a quick buff carry on there. Nobody's picking up anything kind of out of the ordinary with buffs. You do have a Sobek getting meditation early, which is, like I say, I still don't like meditation on anybody really. But they've picked it up actually for twice. They've picked it up on Barkus and on Sobek. Now, Barkus, I've done like a little gameplay of Barkus. Barkus doesn't need meditation at the start. You could use it, but it can still get away. A lovely snare coming out there from Neef, as she is behind, surprisingly on levels. Which, why is she behind? She did get, well, that, no, she shouldn't be behind actually. She should still be ahead. But she doesn't get away with that one. It's probably because she got they got the movement speed buff, but the other one's got the damage buff. We can kind of see how that works out in the end, but not going to go carry on that way. So we've got Cupid and Guan Yu on the right hand side versus Barkus and Kali. Now, as I was saying, Barkus doesn't need meditation to kind of keep his chug up. Now, what he needs, heart bomb going out there by Cupid, going to do a bit of damage. But I actually didn't see Barkus in the well at the start. Now, what he needs to do pretty much at the start is just stay around in the well, keep using your 1 till you get to about like 20 seconds left to go. 20 to 17 seconds left to go, and then you can move out with pretty much a full chug bar, and then you can then not have to worry too much about your mana. You're still going to use it, so you're still going to want some health potions, but you're going to be able to get a different ability and a load of potions. So it works out really well for you that way, and you don't have to waste an ability slot on meditation. Now, they may have a later design for it in later the game, but I still don't see meditation being really useful in competitive play. Now, everyone's getting pushed up. Well, everyone of Serious Gamers is getting pushed up into the air. Cupid misses the heart bomb, but Kali gets. Just everybody being kind of behind on XP at the moment. I'd like to see if these three go down, they kind of even up a little bit. Now, Sayo from SK has pointed this out to me. Left-hand lane, well, actually, basically every team's left-hand lane is slightly behind because of how there's 3 people on the first buff, then 2 people on the second buff, but it works out better for the other camp. But then again, no, it does work out well for them. The mini gold camp has picked up. So Kali only at level 1 boots, surprisingly taking up a load of mana pot. She doesn't actually, it's just another one really. Picking ability. I'd have rather seen it coming out there, obviously, pretty much my standard like melee AD build coming out there. I'll sort that out in a second. Bit of action going off on the right hand side there. Sobek there taking a little bit of damage coming out there. Obviously getting pushed back by Vulcan and Bakasura. Bakasura and Vulcan. Very hard pushed lane, that one. You're going to find it very difficult to push out against that as a Freya and a Sobek. You're not going to be able to put the damage out enough for it. But yeah, like I say, on the melee kind of AD build, Bakasura's taking Vanguard as well, which obviously going to give him extra protection. A melee AD build is probably like level 2 boots, 2 health potions, 1 mana pot, which would work fantastically with Kali. Kali's could do with the extra movement speed. Obviously gonna work out lovely as well, getting her health back. So she doesn't need as many health pots, obviously, as Nomak has picked up. So he's picked up 4 pots of each and an Aegis. Now, Obviously, you don't know who you're going to be laning against unless you do some screams, which you're then going to see later on. Now, the middle tower is taking a lot of damage. Poseidon has backed out, so has Neef. Neef's come back. She's picked up a level. She's got a second level of boots and also got sprint as an ability. Now, Poseidon, what has he picked up? Has finished off his Vanguard, his Magi boots. So he's going to get that early penetration off really well. And he hasn't picked up any abilities. So he kind of just... No one's really winning. Obviously, Neef's backed off really early. And neither of the mid lane has picked up any of the gold camps on their way back in. Which is just... There's no reason not to. Unless you're saving it for your left lane. Bakasura going in there, using his ultimate off there. Sobek manages to get the fling up. Vulcan puts in his slow turret there. Not going to do too much. Freya goes up in the air, so it forces the ultimate out there. Bakasura is going to take a lot of damage from this. Actually going to take more damage than he's managed to inflict. Now, I always find with Vulcan, he's got a very sustained DPS. Even with his ultimate, it's very sustained. There's not really a burst there. I don't quite know what the charge was. Maybe just for killing the turret quicker. Okay, that was fine. Okay. Understandable. Freya's not backed out yet, so she's just kind of... They're going to push the lane up first and then back just to kind of give him a bit of breathing room, so to speak. I'd like to see him back out now. They're going to go for like the cooldown buff first, and then we'll see how it goes there. Poseidon middle, actually taking a lot of damage from the Neef. Down to about half health. Obviously, with Vampiric Shroud, he will get that health back quite easily. Does he have any health potions? No, doesn't have any health potions there to work on there. So, the Freya and the Sobek are going to get both the buffs first, and then back. Obviously, it's going to give them a bit more gold, as they might be a bit short of some items, so they're just going to do that. Obviously, if they're going to back now, they're going to go for the little gold camp. Not too sure. See how they're going to go. It's obviously up to them how they want to play it. So yeah, now they do back. Probably pick up the little gold camp now. And Bakasura is in the red buff there. Neef tried to steal that one. Obviously, it's a luck shot as pretty much as you're going to try and go there. Freya only with enough gold to pick up level 1 Magi boots is surprising. As she is level 7. 12. Could have probably stuck around another like little bit longer just to pick up that. Pick up level 2. She could have probably done with picking up an ability as well. But then again, keep going. As the left hand lane is getting pushed up pretty hard by Vulcan. And on the right hand side lane, they've not really done too much. Carly's burnt through all of her mana pots. 2 of her health pots as well. Yeah, just taking out. Bakasura going to steal Neef's red buff as well. He really just kind of... He's going full jungle now. He's obviously got a few extra skills out. And now he's going to be jungling for the rest of the majority, I believe. He's going to come in. Obviously, no, take a look at Neef. Since she wasn't in a good position, probably going to go take the blue buff and then gank right. I do think. Or he's been seen. So he's definitely been seen coming that way. So now he's going to pick up the blue buff. Carly and Barker's going to rotate around. Barker's going to jump in. So they've kind of like forcing an engagement coming out there. Bakasura does leap out there with Cupid ult coming up there. Carly's ult is up. She is using it. Guan Yu's ult is coming out there. Bakasura is using his as well. Dash through in there onto Carly. So it's forcing engagement that they're going to lose on. It's 3-1. And yeah, that was... That there, Bakasura forced the engagement because he was taking the buff. They didn't want to let the buff go, but you kind of got to look at it in a way that you've been pushed up to your tower. There's a bit more action going on the right. Vulcan getting caught out a little bit there. Obviously got picked up there by Sobek. Getting flung back there. Freya's ultimate going out there. Going to be caught out, obviously, by Freya. No, obviously just going to run middle. It's going to get away with this one unless there's a lovely banish coming out. Do we see a banish coming up there? No. Does get the banish. Sobek nowhere to be seen though. Poseidon does come around to help out. Throws out a Kraken. Adds defense. Just kind of scare him off. There's not really much they could have done. As obviously you're just up against Vulcan. As he's quite tanky as it is. But yeah, like the right hand side lane forced the engagement that they didn't really want to do. They didn't want to let Bakasura take the buff. But you're so far pushed up the lane that as soon as you go in there, you're automatically disadvantaged. Okay? You couldn't kill Bakasura fast enough. They could have got the early kill. Maybe it could have worked. But it then turned into a 2-on-3. Well, 3-on-2. And it just went in attack Fire Giant's favour. They just couldn't. They had no... Serious gamers had nothing they could kind of do. Obviously, the Carly Didn't have the DPS because obviously only had like level 1 boots. Maybe level 2 boots would have helped her out a bit more. Obviously throwing her armor. Cupid ult going out there onto Barkus. They're taking out a lot of damage. Does the mesmer. Barkus using his ultimate there. Carly just needs to leave. Get out from underneath that tower. Guan Yu's ult going in there. Could like tower dive. Neef ult coming in there. Surprisingly enough, gets picked up on the Cupid. There's a free coming out there onto... There's so much damage going out onto these two that they couldn't quite carry on. If maybe their carries would have seen that Guan Yu, maybe a bit more communication coming out there that's going to carry on, that they could have actually picked up them kills quite easily. Freya and Sobek rotating in from the left-hand side lane. Now, does she get a banish? No, decides to go straight for her ultimate. Picks up Cupid, which is pretty like an easy kill there that she landed. It does get the banish off onto Bakasura. Sobek is rotating round. Won't get a pick off on here as there's too many creeps in the way to stop that one. So at least they answered back with 1 kill, obviously rotating round. Probably could have done with like a call from Vulcan to give him a bit of warning. Bit of ward coverage possibly. They don't have any wards at the moment. The right hand side tower is taking a lot of damage. And the left hand side tower could go down during all this there. As there's no creeps coming up there and a lot of archers to kind of help out as well. Vulcan could have spent a long time there, but obviously he knows Neef's missing mid, so that he kind of knows that they're rotating left, and you can kind of get the timings out there, obviously, of how long you want to stay. You don't want to stay too long. He's done enough damage to kind of warrant people rotating over there and pull them away from other lanes, so they can't push other lanes. Poseidon's still going to push middle during all of this. He's evened up with... He's still same level as Neef. Let's just check out the gold. He's about 100 gold up from the Neef. And Bakasura doing really well. Finished his boots. Obviously, a Vanguard pickup on Bakasura helps out quite a lot, actually, at the start. Now, the melee ADs, I don't generally pick up like a starter item like Death Toll. Death Toll was pointless on a melee, just because you've kind of got to get in a dangerous position to get some benefit from it, and it just doesn't really work out. It's generally like a ranged only item, but a Vanguard works really well just to kind of, yeah, in them engagements, because you're going to get creep damage quite a lot. Obviously, Neef can hear what's going on there in the red buff, but can't do anything about it. As if she goes for it, she's going to get kind of caught out there just by Bakasura. It's just going to hammer on her. She backflips. He's going to chase after her. Poseidon's going to drop some cripples. Carly is rotating in, and so is Barkus. Barkus as well. We have a Cupid mid as well. Cupid will see Barkus. Now Carly's going to try and take the red buff in this whole time. Yep, going to happen. Bakasura is on the left-hand lane, carrying on a bit of action there. So we're going to skip that one back quickly to see what's going on. So Freya goes up in the air. Sobek misses a fling, taking out a lot of damage from the Barkus with the Girdle of Might popped as well. So he is going to go down. Freya is there. Now they're going to just decide to back out from that one. Barkus did jump in on Carly, but yeah, that's the same teammate, so I don't know where I was getting that from. Now, they could have rotated in onto Poseidon. Poseidon was in a dangerous situation, but then Barkus decides to go around the back way, which then slows him up. Carly's ultimate doing a lot of damage. Snare coming out from Neef. Barkus using Intoxication. Now, there's nowhere else really for Poseidon to go. Carly does take the unnecessary damage from the tower. They could have probably done all that before. Yeah, pretty much before Poseidon got that way, but Barkus decided to take the long route round instead of just going straight at them. Freya just being pushed back again by a Vulcan. As there's nothing really, like I said, there's just nothing she can do. She can use her 2 out on him, but he's just going to push the creep wave just as hard. Bakasura has picked up Creeper Curse. That's going to really work well with him. Obviously, with his true damage out there, you want to keep people in range of you the whole time that true damage is going on. Cupid's going to take down the mid. Well, work on the middle tower quite hard. Probably won't get it taken down. It'll have like 10% health, like 1 square left, because Neef will just finish off them archers quite quickly. Now, Neef rushing a Deathbringer, which is surprising enough, actually. It's questionable. It's a good item. I don't think it's rush-worthy, though, purely because there's so much other things she could be doing. She could either get some lifesteal out there, or like attack speed from an Executioner would work out really well. Deathbringer, not so much. You're going to be attacking so slow that it's not going to kind of work for you. And it's a very expensive item, so you're putting your DPS so far behind early on just to get this high damage item out. Now, obviously, yeah, it's just I don't feel it's going to work really well for her, but I could be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, but I could be wrong. Now, Freya and Sobek have rotated over to their cooldown reduction. They look like they're just waiting for it, but then Freya just backs out. So, Gem of Isolation coming out from Poseidon as well, just to kind of add that annoyance factor on, and the right-hand tower does go down quite nicely there. There wasn't really much Barkas could do against two of them pushing up the lane. Now, Vulcan is rotating around, just dropping some wards, really, just to kind of get carried on. Now, Freya's finished boots off. We're getting an early Jotun's Wrath out from Kali, which, I just see some of these items that I don't see why they pick them up second. It's early on, especially at, like, your second item you're going to do. Your mana pool is going to be quite low, that you won't be able to sustain the amount of abilities that you can throw out, especially early on. Even though you're going to get 150 mana from, obviously, the Jotun's Wrath, it's still not going to be able to sustain you for throwing out the abilities quite often. And obviously, she started off with a lot of, like, potions at the start, so it's just not going to kind of work for her, I don't believe. Later on, yeah, I'd have liked to have seen it like a fourth item, but the third fourth item would have worked. I'd have liked probably a Void Blade to come out on her, kind of give her a bit early protection. Now, Barkas is going straight in onto Poseidon, but the Cupid comes around out of the jungle behind him just to kind of stop that aggression coming out. Bakasura on the left-hand side going in as well. Doesn't really get much going on. Sobek goes out there. Vulcan using his ultimate up. Overdrive on. Doing some damage to the Sobek. Sobek not doing too much. Obviously, Bakasura could turn around and do a lot of damage. Obviously, with his finished Executioner Blade and the true damage coming out from his steroid ability, he could rip down Sobek so fast at the moment. With that extra attack speed as well, just really going to work for him. And obviously, he's not going to have the stacks, though, from his ultimate, as he's just kind of thrown that out from his passive. Kali on the right-hand side, they with... just on their own, actually, pushing that tower against Guan Yu. Guan Yu's the ultimate onto Kali. Kali using the dash and the free. Causing quite a bit of damage to her, actually. Taking her down to about half. She's going to turn around and fight. Used a bit of life still on him. Didn't actually get too much back. I'd love to see, actually, where she's throwing her points. I kind of feel that it needs a bit more practice on the Kali. Snare coming out there from Neef onto Poseidon. Poseidon uses Kraken onto Barkas. Barkasura going in there. Look, he's just ripping down tanks so quickly as he hasn't even finished his boots yet. As he is so pretty far behind, and Barkasura is quite ahead, obviously, with what's going on. That middle tower's still up. Look at it. It just needs like one more hit. Just tickle it with a feather and it's going to go down. That's pretty much what we're going to get coming out from that side. Now, Bakasura just going to look at Neef. Neef decides to back out. So, Freya coming in from the left does get a banish onto the Bakasura. Should we get a 1 coming out from Neef? I'd have liked to have seen a 1, but I think she might have just used that, obviously, on the Cupid. But yeah, if we could have got like a banish, a 1 stun snare from the Neef, that could have helped do a bit of damage to the Bakasura. Because then she could, obviously, Freya could have used a 2 or a 1 to do some damage. Probably would have been, you want to use your 2 from Freya off onto the Bakasura, because you don't want to get in melee range. If you get in melee range of him, he's going to rip you apart. It's just so much damage coming out from him. It's going to be quite hard to deal with. So, Gem of Isolation is finished up now for Poseidon. So we're going to get Vulcan's going to take down that left tower. He's just going to back off, obviously. With those turrets can just hold a lane back so much, and it does go down there. So we've just got Cupid. Cupid could probably push Neef back a little bit. He only literally has to kind of get in range, and the archers will help. So if he decides to go in now, he can take down that middle tower, get some global gold coming out there. Bakasura is looking right-hand side. They decided not to kind of do it. Right-hand side onto the Kali. Kali just getting smashed on. I want to go back and look at it. I did spot it earlier, but I wanted to see the tower go down as well. But we didn't get to see it. So, Creeping Curse coming out there. Guan Yu's ult on top of her. And just... yeah. As you can see, there's just a lot of damage coming out there. The ultimate from Bakasura is just pulling her apart. And like I say, the Jotun's Wrath's not helping Kali out at the moment. The middle tower does go down. Cripple going out from the Whirlpool onto the Barkas. Vulcan jumping in there as well, dropping a couple of turrets. Bakasura coming round, using Not going to use his 2 yet. His steroid, no, going to save that for the moment. Could have probably finished him off. Maybe if we can go and get a Frost Hammer onto Barkasura, is really going to, like, obviously cause a bit of problem as well for serious gamers, as no one's going to be able to get away from him. Just nobody. You got a Creeping Curse and a Frost Hammer. Just not going to happen. But obviously he's got the Creeping Curse. He's not going to have to worry too much. But yeah, like I was saying about the Kali, he's just not going to get the skills out in time. Half the time, he's just taking so much damage. And yeah, he just don't have the mana pool to really make up for it. So Barkus just going, he's doing really good on the farm. He's at level 16. He's up there with Poseidon. He's going to get flung back there. Obviously, the 2 ability coming out there from Neef, causing a bit of damage. Hasn't got his jump and taking an ultimate. Oh, now it just comes with cooldown. Ultimate from Freya coming out there. Not going to be enough. He's going to get away with that one. Neef ult coming in there. Shouldn't kill him, actually. Oh, it does kill him, actually. I wasn't 100% sure if it was going to kill him. It ran that borderline health mark. But seeing as Neef is around level 17, I should have checked that out. And she does manage to kind of finish him off. Poseidon in a bit of trouble, obviously being chased down the Kali with her ultimate there. Will go down, obviously, as Neef's come back round as well. Kraken going out. Oh, can he not get away with this one? Aha, yeah, Barkus comes in and jumps on top. Guan Yu's ultimate coming out just to kind of help him get away and prevent that intoxication going on top of him there. Now, if Barkus hadn't have come in, Poseidon would have actually got away, which is kind of unreal to think about it, but he would have actually got away with that one. Kind of silly being played up there. So we got some aggressive wards out there by serious gamers. Some not covering the Gold Fury, so Gold Fury attempt could kind of come out there. Sobek on Vulcan as well. So we're still waiting for Barkus to back out. He's going to go for a Soul Eater next. But look, he's actually finished both Creeping Curse and Aegis as well. So we've got level 3 on both of them. We can kind of see it now. If we actually see the ability. Sometimes you've got to double tap to get it, obviously, you know. So yeah, he's got level 3. So obviously he's going to get, like, healing reductions. Not really going to be anything he needs to worry about. Obviously it can kind of help against the Kali. But as I said, there's not really anything to worry about there. But it's more the Aegis Amulet, where obviously after he uses that to protect himself from a Kraken, he's got 4 seconds of 20% reduction. It's going to really work for him, especially in a team fight, because you can jump in there, get a few attacks off, wait for everybody to kind of focus you and blow up abilities, hit that one, obviously negate the burst that's going to come out from like Krakens and stuff like that, and then for 20 seconds after that you're going to be excellent in a team fight. So Barkasura is just going to really hurt. Look, he's going to take down that Kali so much. Kali needs to back out of there. Freya gets a banish off there to protect the Kali. Kali's healing is not going to be focused off there too much there, but I wonder where she's put her skill points, because the heal coming out there from Kali on like half a creep wave just didn't do anything for her. Heart Bomb going out there does manage the Aegis. I'm not sure if she's negated all the damage. Does go down to Cupid. Banish going up there onto Barkasura again, but Cupid behind just all attacking away at Freya. Poseidon coming around using the Kraken. It's now 4-on-1 at the end, and then the Heart Bomb goes off at the end, and a triple kill coming out there for Cupid, actually picking up all of them kills in the end. So attack Fire Giant, just rotating really well, positioning really well, taking engagements properly, and capitalising, I can't say this much, capitalising on a lot of mistakes coming out from serious gamers. So we have Neef sitting in the jungle there next to Vulcan. I was trying to back out there, right hand side tier 2 tower. Will go down to Poseidon, and well, there's actually 3 of them there taking it down. Now, Kali again's picking up another she's picking up a defensive ability now, Barrock of Hope. I feel that she needs to get some damage on the board. She's just not causing any damage at the moment. She goes up against anybody. They just, fair enough, she's gonna die really quickly. She dies really quickly anyway at this level kind of disadvantage, which is not actually at a level disadvantage now. They've kind of brought that back. Obviously at the later levels it slows up a little bit more, so she's at level 16. The highest on attack Fire Giant is level 18, which is the Barkasura, but Barkasura is pretty kind of fed a little bit at the moment anyway, with like 4 kills, 3 assists and only 1 death. So he's also got the most gold in the game, with 10k gold over anyone that's about like 9k or just short of 9k. Sobek going to get caught out there, as I kind of missed that kind of going on. Everyone rotated for attack Fire Giant. They could see he was on his own as everyone was pretty much dead, and they've kind of seen that. So he pushed so far forward, rotating around. There's no ward coverage, so he doesn't see it coming. Cupid ult going in on there. Got like a helicopter Guan Yu using his ult there. Dashes through, causing so much damage, and it just goes down. He just doesn't have any magical protection. So the Vulcan and Guan Yu abilities was just causing a lot of damage. Freya gonna get kind of caught in this bad situation. Are they going to get the cooldown reduction? They do. Neef manages to get the cooldown reduction, but they do need to kind of back out, group up. They need some team fights to kick this on. They are behind by about 8k gold. A lot of that is actually on the Bakasura, obviously, from assists, from really good farm. He's been obviously keeping all them jungle buffs down, keeping everything going. Obviously stealing the Neef buffs as well. And it just kind of, he was stealing a lot of serious gamers buffs. And it now shows, obviously, he's like a K ahead, even in front of Cupid. And Cupid's got exactly the same amount of kill score going on. So it just shows you how much them extra jungle buffs really kind of promote there in just gold. Now, I'd like to see probably a Gold Fury attempt coming out there. They've kind of, everyone's pushed under the tower for serious games. They have the damage output, and Vulcan and Bakasura are both around there. So yeah, they are going to go for the Gold Fury now. Bakasura, yeah, it's just going to solo it. It's got the damage output and the sustain coming out there from the Soul Eater as he's finished that one. So even with the Soul Eater, he's going to give a lot of attack speed to Cupid. Oh no, it doesn't give it attack speed anymore. It's just plus 10 attack power and a bit more life steal to Cupid. So it's not, the aura really isn't that good on the Soul Eater anymore. But yeah, just the abilities coming out there. Neve's going for a Rage. Second item. So really going for them expensive items when she's so far behind. I'd like to see at the end game how much damage she puts out on players compared to the rest of her team. She's the only person not to die yet, but that's purely because Neef is just a pain to kill. Bakasura has been seen going into the Fire Giants trying to solo it, so Barkus and Kali are coming over. He could pretty much kill both of these two, I feel. He's just going to jump out the side though to kind of protect himself, as I think Barkus kind of used his jump just to kind of get there anyway. They could have forced the engagement because they would have seen that there's two on the left and free rotated right, so the mid lane could have actually gone after Neef and Sobek there. There's a lot of damage going there. On to Kali. Kali needs to stay at the back. Barkus going in there. The forced engagement. Kraken's already been used now. Freya's ultimate going out onto the top. Sobek going down there. Cupid ult going off. Barkus is getting just hammered down by the Guan Yu. Everyone pretty much for attack Fire Giant has left the Guan Yu on his own, and they're kind of dealing with Sobek at the back. So Guan Yu needs to kind of make his way back. But Kasura is coming around there, has seen obviously what's going on there. Uses his ultimate, goes after the Kali. Guan Yu does go down, but so does Kali in there in quick succession. Creek Curse coming out there and finishes off the Freya. There's so much damage coming out of this Bakasura. They really just kind of can't do anything. Sobek will go down in the end there too. Obviously Cupid and Vulcan there, just so much damage. He had nowhere really else to go. It was basically both tanks went after the teams and everyone else kind of stayed back, which was really kind of weird. So you've got Guan Yu that, fair enough, he's ahead in kind of like items, levels, and defensive really well. Sobek only has one defensive item apart from boots that went under a tower to kind of push back against attack Fire Giant, and none of his team kind of followed up. Everyone else focused for the Guan Yu. If they'd have kind of come in there, they could have helped him out a little bit more. Obviously, he did survive quite a long time, and we've seen the Fire Giant here, obviously, on the camera. So, Guan Yu did really well, kind of lasted a long time versus serious gamers, which kind of give his teammates enough time to whittle down Sobek, but I still didn't like the fact that the whole teams were focusing on the tank and staying. Now, attack Fire Giant did have the favourable positioning because they still had a tower up, so they could sit under the tower the whole time the engagement was going on, but they were leaving their teammates. Now they could, as you've seen, as soon as they kind of went for the team engagements, they just ripped it all apart. They just kind of, Bakasura literally walked in from the jungle, went, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to go help Guan Yu because why are you guys still under the tower attacking that Sobek? It's kind of pointless to do. But it's one of them things. They didn't have to worry. They had a really aggressive Sobek. Obviously, Guan Yu, I think he got a kill. Almost got a kill. Anyway, just did a lot of damage. I think he did. No, he didn't get the Barkus because the Barkus was still alive, but done enough damage to really do anything else. But then Barkus decided to engage on attack 5. So there's the creeping curse there, ultimate coming out there from Bakasura. Bakasura just Neef using her ultimate to kind of snare him down, which is surprising. Sobek coming in there, flings up Bakasura, and he's doing the right fare. Terry Foster is deciding to back out there. Vulcan's come over there, and so has Barkus. Barkus then leaps onto Bakasura. Bakasura does have his leap still off cooldown. Carly over as well. They still can't manage to secure a kill. She does get a snare up there. Kraken coming out there from Poseidon. Just a few auto attacks off there from Neef, going to cause a lot of damage out there. Guan Yu and the back managing to pick off Barkus there with Cupid. Carly also being caught out. Running around the Fire Giant Mountain. Decides to back off and walk straight into Poseidon. Poseidon then picks up that. Vulcan does go down, obviously, in that engagement as well. So it's a 2-for-1 trade. Could get a third one there. Sobek, obviously, there's no stun coming out there from that. Barkus just getting slowed down. And one crit from Cupid causing a lot of damage onto the Freya. So we've got a bit of a tanky Carly. He is starting to get some kills up. And still just going full tank now. She's getting higher than an Enemian line. It's just going to make herself completely worthless, I feel, later on. They can kind of focus her. She's still going to be squishy, even with all these kind of tanky items. She's not a bruiser. She can heal, okay, but you'd probably want the damage coming out there. The Neef is doing a lot of damage now, obviously, where she has finished her Deathbringer and Rage, but she's got no penetration. There isn't really... Do you know what? There's actually no like physical defense items on Attack Fire Giant's side, so they're not really kind of worried at the minute. So no one's really picking up like penetration items, as there's no protection items coming out. So it's lucky enough it's worked in Neef's favour. If Bakasura had picked up like a Void Blade or something else like that, he's going pretty much glass cannon at the minute, which he can do. He's got he's been fed quite hard. Obviously, with the 6 kills, 3 assists. So is the Cupid. So they can just like snowball their lead, so to speak. Now they could probably Bakasura could disappear right now and go get that Fire Giant, as he knows where everybody is. They can force the engagement, which I do believe that's where they're going to go now. He's decided to pick up his Rage, and then he's probably going to go for a Deathbringer next. He might go for something a bit defensive, obviously, to kind of last out in the end. Good, the Might is popped there. They're going to want to push this quite quickly as Barkus is rotating around. Carly on Poseidon though. Poseidon just being chased down there. She's doing a bit more damage, but like I say, she just can't do the damage on him. She needs like 2 other people to get the pick that one off there, and well, he just gets flung up there by Sobek, and then Freya comes in there. Banish off onto Bakasura, but there's got no, the Fire Giant is right out there. Cupid all going out there. Carly just being shot at by Cupid. Bakasura just, he's like, bring it on, come on, getting pushed back by Spin, and then gets caught out there by the Sobek charge. Sobek charge picks him up in the air. Still, uses ages to kind of last a little bit long there. Bakasura has jumped in there using Intoxication. Overpowered from Vulcan. Used there as well onto the Bakasura. Vulcan does decide to back out there. Where is the rest of the team? So we've lost Cupid in that engagement as well. I didn't actually see Cupid go down. I just kind of heard a little scream. So they've managed to secure a couple of kills there, which was good. It's probably because Vulcan was behind a little bit away, kind of coming a bit late. Poseidon was on his own. Bakasura and Cupid kind of rotated in just to kind of help out. So they were just kind of getting picked off in a team fight because there was just numbers, really. They just kind of got caught out by numbers. So Bakasura is finishing off his Rage Blade. A Spear of Magnus coming out there on Poseidon, so he's going to get his real damage penetration is going to start kicking in now as well. And we're getting a lot Soul Eater, which is kind of the first cheap item coming out onto the Neef. And the Neefs decide to pick up Shielded Recall, actually, which is a surprising kind of thing to do. It's going to be good. Obviously, she could kind of split push really well against that. There's not many stuns going to come out from anybody. There's no real stuns actually to come out from obviously Attack Fire Giant. You've obviously got like the Cupid Heart Bomb, but you got to have the stacks then you've got to get it off early enough, and then it's going to have that time delay before it can actually kick on. So she'd probably be able to back out in time there. Sobek's ultimate was forced out there, which I felt was a little bit of a waste, but we can see what's going to go on with that. Now, serious gamers are actually starting to pull back a little bit that lead that Attack Fire Giant have. I'm still surprised. I am really surprised at this. Obviously, they're just pushing for the late game. Carly getting a bit... still doing really well on the farm. Where is Carly? They're just looking at the Fire Giant. Obviously, not Fire Giant, Gold Fury, as it's not going to happen. Vulcan in there looking at the Fire Giant. Bakasura could probably still go around there and still solo it himself, as he's got a lot of sustain coming out. But Attack Fire Giant are 10k ahead. As long as they keep together in the team fights coming out there. So we're going to get a golden bow coming out from Bakasura. That's really going to push quite hard, obviously, in the team fights. So he can just AoE pretty much everybody and constantly AoE. The left-hand tower will go... No? She decides to back off early. Obviously, she's seen Cupid. Freya seen Cupid coming in around early on. Didn't want to kind of chance it, as obviously you don't know who else is in the jungle. We see Barker's actually chasing down the Neef. Gets the creeping curse, obviously, after the jump goes out there. And she's just going to ult her to death. There's nothing she can kind of do. Obviously, does get the snare off there. But she's got nothing else, as she's so slow. And then gets just finished off so quickly. Now we do have a Barkus and Carly rotating over there pretty quickly. I think they might have got Sin by the Ward, but... Sobek over here as well. Pushing the spin back there. Carly going to come around there. Use the 2 and then use their ultimate, but Bakasura is using just leaps out of it pretty much. There's not much they can kind of do going on. Taking a lot of damage though from the Sobek ultimate. Obviously he doesn't have any defensive items and Sobek's doing quite well. He's got no damage items at the moment, but Guan Yu is jumped in there, used his ultimate to kind of defensively kind of keep him back there. Barkus is at the back. Didn't really make any worth of this engagement. But on the left-hand side lane, we do have Vulcan and Cupid pushing the Freya back to her tower. Should be able to push this tier 2 at least down halfway. Cupid decides to dash out from the Freya damage. Now uses his ultimate onto Freya there. Just obviously we saw a Vulcan ult coming out there underneath the tower. So Cupid used that opportunity to take the chance to throw his ult out and then just go for Freya. And at level 20, you're not going to take that much damage from the tower as it is. So you can just kind of mess around on the tower as much as you like. Barkus is rotating around as well. He's going to kind of see them moving into the jungle and decides, I don't think so. I'd rather not. Bakasura is going to solo the fight. Well, not pretty much solo the Fire Giant, but he's going to be there with Poseidon on the Fire Giant. So we will see a Fire Giant buff coming up on there. So it's about half health now. Getting work down. It's slow progress. Obviously, with it kind of builds on health as it goes through and levels. Whereas the game goes on, everything kind of gets generated up. So we could having like a defensive Carly's kind of helping him at the minute. It's probably stopping the snowball effect on the Carly, because obviously if she was full damage she'd die in like 2 hits. So I could have been wrong there. Building a bit tanky's kind of helping her out. Passives help, probably doing some damage. She probably could have secured a few more kills if she hadn't been tanky. But then again, you could look at it as she probably would have died a few more times if she was as tanky as this. So it's all swings and roundabouts. The right hand side tower lane is being pushed up quite hard up to the Phoenix. Neef is there, so should hold back on the creep wave a little bit more. Vulcan on Carly on the left hand side. Poseidon coming around there. So Carly's in a very bad position. Kraken coming out there, taking a lot of damage. Obviously like 2 or few abilities. Taking a lot of damage from the tower as well. Obviously she did there. And the ultimate from Vulcan, especially seeing as they had the Fire Giant buff. So it was a kill for a tower. Okay, acceptable a little bit. We lost a Cupid kill on the left hand side there, so we're going to go back to that. So Barker's rotating around. Straight on top, using intoxication, manages to get Bakasura and Cupid with that. He's going after Bakasura, but then there's 3. We've got the Neef rotating around, the Sobek coming out there, and the Aegis popped out onto Cupid. Cupid does throw his ult up in there, so Bakasura has come around there, but the ult from Freya is going to cause so much damage onto him. He needs to be a little bit careful. Get out of there. Neef ult as well. Didn't quite... It was 2 on 4, pretty much. This is where Attack Fire Giant are throwing. They're not keeping together. They're not synergizing everything. They're kind of thinking we're ahead, we're so far ahead, we can kind of just, we're one man a team fight. And this is what happens in a lot of pug matches, actually. So you'll get someone that's fed up quite nicely, and then even I do in my gameplays as well, that I'll just kind of, let's just go with it. We're ahead, we can do this. But the problem is, in competitive play, the respawn timers are so long at level 20 that as soon as you lose 2 members to like a stupid engagement like that, obviously where they're pushed so far ahead, leave enough time for the opposing team to rotate over, you've then put your team in a position where it's like 5v3, or at the moment it's 4v3, which, okay, like serious gamers are going to be behind in a team fight versus like 3 of them, even though it is Vulcan, Guan Yu and Poseidon. Well, actually no, they'd have so much damage that they could probably push ahead. They should go for the Gold Fury now. They have the advantage. They could probably DPS it down fast enough to get the Gold Fury, and they desperately need it. They need to close down that gold gap. They have closed down the gold gap pretty well. It's gone from like an obscene like 13k gold lead to like 11 now. So they're kind of working on. The Freya's probably going to have done like the most damage in this game, I feel. The Neve's doing really well, obviously, as she's not being killed off, so she's just getting that farm in. And there's a lot of people getting some good farm off. Obviously, Bakasura's still got the biggest farm off, but he's picked up a few items that's kind of... Okay, yeah. There's nothing wrong with his build. He's just got a lot of gold to spend, so there's nothing coming out. I'd like to see what he's going to do with his Vanguard. Probably like a Deathbringer or maybe even a Void Blade, just so he can kind of sustain a little bit more in the team fights. So now we have pretty much 4 members for attack Fire Giant in the middle lane. They still have the Fire Giant buff. Bakasura and Cupid don't have it left. So we can kind of see what's going to go on. We kind of could do with like a Fire Giant timer for the spectators. I need to have like a little pen next to me. I might do that in future. I have a pen next to me to find out. Carly, very bad position. Going to get spotted by a ward. She's dropped the ward down, but didn't kill the other ward. So what was the point of that? Look at this. Bakasura is going to come around and just kill her ward. You've already been... Right, okay. You've come round into the jungle. You've dropped the ward down. Now you didn't even kill the ward, and you didn't back? Look, she's just going to die now. That's just really bad engagement kind of tactics there. Obviously, Creep and Curse is out, but she used bees to get away from there, and she's using a sprint. So Bakasura's got all these passives to just kind of engage on it, and she's going to go down. She's doing really well to kind of survive this long. Freya is rotating over to help out. He could have actually got the kill. He did have the damage, and his teammates are rotating over enough. The fact that I'm surprised that Carly lived, okay? That the Carly should have died there. Bakasura did play it safe. I'm kind of, in respect, you kind of got to be glad that he did play it safe. Poseidon's going to come around there, gets a world pull out, doesn't manage to get the Neef ultimate coming out there onto Poseidon for the size. Didn't see it actually hit, or this decided not to. You know, we only see the arrow come out there when it's flying. Bakasura taking a lot of damage now. Now, if he'd have finished off that Neef, Poseidon could have helped him out onto Freya. So we got some engagement going on there. The Cupid throwing out his ultimate there, just kind of like a defensive one. Did throw it out, didn't actually see it land. Obviously, the Cupid, the Sobek fling stopped it mid-cast, so it didn't actually go off. Guan Yu being caught out here as well. So you're seeing like that was really bad actually from Attack Fire Giant. They're just making so many mistakes now that they're letting serious gamers actually come back from this. They've obviously got like a tanky Carly that went ahead on her own. They can actually take a Fire Giant now. Yeah, they could take a Fire Giant now. They're there. They will Attack Fire Giant have the ward coverage, so they would have seen it actually happen. Bakasura is in the well, so would have had enough time to get back. But they're just Attack Fire Giant are giving serious gamers everything they need to actually get back into this game. They're just kind of just doing silly engagements. Now, Bakasura is going to come in on here. He's going to go after the Neef. Decides, yes. Creep and Curse comes out there. Using Shielded Recall. She's going to get it off. Yes! So there, that Shielded Recall has already paid for itself. it's just such a troll item, but it's worked. But like I say, Bakasura doesn't have, there's not many stuns. Now, you've got like the Kraken, Cupid's Heart Bomb, and Guan Yu's ultimate. They're the only stuns that you have that could stop the shielded recall. And they all take a long, well, apart from Poseidon's Kraken. Kraken's the only instant thing that could stop the Neef recall. That is it. Literally, if the recall goes off, the Kraken is the only ability in the game at the moment which will stop it. So we've got Kali going up against Bakasura. Well, she did look about Bakasura. Bakasura might jump over the wall after it gets the red buff, but no. So the defense items from Kali's actually working really well from her at the moment. So we're going to see that there. Now, Neef as well has picked up Titan's Bane, which good penetration item. Obviously is going to work really well for her ultimate, as she's not going to be able to get the free stacks up there from the Executioner. She's just going to get the one hit. So that's going to synergize for her really well. Team Fire Giant need to stick together now. If they're just kind of, yeah, Sobek need to be careful, man. There's all of them there. They're going to force the engagement on the Fire Giant, I believe. They're all 5 of them around here. They have the damage output for it, and like I said, they're doing this mainly to force the engagement, I believe. They're just looking at it, just get in there. So they're over there waiting for somebody to kind of come over, and as you can see, they're just waiting for someone to look. So here comes Freya, Neef, Sobek's there. Sobek should be at the front. I'd rather not see Neef or Freya get hit by anything. So they're not in the Fire Giant. They're going to go into mid now, and everyone's kind of rotating over. So all the teams are together, and everyone's working well. So Chin's Blade coming out there on Bakasura. Obviously, he's just going for like pure attack speed on everything he can get. So just the more attacks he can get, working out with his steroid, obviously with that true damage, is going to work out nicely. Kali just staying in the jungle, hopefully to get the drop on anybody. I'd like to see, once she starts finishing these items that she's got, to kind of then start working out some of like the defensive items to like some damage. Barkus is actually in the jungle to the right of the teams. He's going to go for the engagement. So they're actually pushing back Team Fire Giant, not Team Fire Giant, Attack Fire Giant. VAF. It's good that they used the VGS system to kind of, it works really well with the name, don't it? So Kali's going over this. She's going to go solo the Fire Giant. They got no coverage, but then again, there's no Kali in the team fight. They can see that there's only 3. They don't know where Barkus is. Obviously, Sobek just missed a fling up on Guan Yu. Only flicks like a creep wave. They need to back off. They've kind of given Kali enough time to get the Gold Fury down. If they can kind of just back off. There's Belch of the Gods coming out there from Barkus, and they're doing, like I say, they're doing really well as delay tactic. Keep delaying. Bakasura might go round. No one's going round yet. Kali's still working on it. Half health. She's going to start, obviously, her passive, but when she gets below 25%, it's going to start working for her really well. Barkus is going to go around there to kind of help out. Freya is there as well. So they're all going to really get that. They're going to get the Gold Fury, actually, completely uncontested, just purely because there's no ward coverage. They should be asking, where is Kali? Kali's been gone ages. They are going to have heard that the Gold Fury has gone down. And like I say, they're pulling back this gold lead from like 13k deficit behind. And we're at about a 45-minute match. And it's working out really well. I'm quite, like I say, I'm very surprised that you can see that a team that's so far ahead start to throw it from poor engagements, and also even they're just making questionable decisions. Like I say, the Kali going on her own on that right hand side tower was a very bad decision for serious gamers. Now, they could have Attack Fire Giant could have quite easily rotated round, killed that Kali, not a problem. No worries. She dropped a ward down that she didn't even kind of clear the enemy ward, which was really bad there. And then just kind of, I feel like I'm hitting on Kali quite a lot for bad decisions, but she's making, I don't mean to, but you can kind of see where I'm coming from with some of the stuff. Neef gets the snare off onto Bakasura. Bakasura now the fact that everybody's getting their items in there, Neef is going to go for a Jotun's Wrath now as well, so she can get some more snares off. Obviously, her ultimate offers a bit more. So Bakasura it's lost that lead. He's been so good through the game. He wins it from early game, And now, late game, he can get focused so hard and die so quickly. So he's just pretty much a glass cannon ability. Now he is there in the Fire Giant. They should hear it. Neef would have heard it by now. Barkus is there as well. So it's going to force the engagement coming out there. Sobek and Freya rotating around. Fire Giant about half health. Barkus are really going to town on it. They're going to have to go in sometime soon. No, Barkus jumps out just as it happens. And then it got reset before Barkus could use the Hands of God on it. Sobek goes down. And now Barkus is going to go down there to a Kraken. Now, you can see where they saw. They forced the engagement. As soon as they saw everyone coming in, Barkus went, yeah, that's it. I'm getting out of here. I'm not being locked inside. So he's... Barkus used Creep and Curse onto Neef and then decided to kind of go for Freya. So I don't quite know where he was deciding to go from there. Obviously, Neef does do a backflip to get out of this. So they managed to bait out 2 kills from that. Now they're going to go in there and get that Fire Giant. So that was an exceptional, a really good bait, obviously, from Attack Fire Giant. They've worked out really well there for them. There was like a bit of mind games going on. But they knew they were outside, they knew they could be heard, and then they just waited for serious games to engage. Obviously, if you're going to jump over the wall, you then can't get out. You're locked in. That's the problem with jumping over a wall at the Fire Giant, with both teams there. They're both the support tanks. Well, basically, both the tanks just got blown up pretty easily there by Poseidon, Vulcan, obviously, with the overdrive coming out as well. It's another... Jeez, I've done 2 long games this week. So I've had, like, what was it? Like an hour-long game or 55-minute game the other day as well. So Neef, as well as Creeping Curse, that thing has got such a short cooldown there. Barkasura is going off a town. And a shield of recall. Really? He almost lost that one. He was like 1 attack away from killing Neef. And then decided to drop his ultimate to then finish her off. Middle Phoenix does go down in all this as well. So you can see how worthwhile that Creeping Curse has been on Barkasura. Obviously, because they can't run away. So they use their leap. Or with just any gap closer they have to kind of get out of the way. And then Barkasura's got to jump. So he just closes the gap on top of them, finishes them off. Intoxication coming out there from Barkasura. Barkus uses Belch of the Gods. Cupid ultimate going out there. Barkus is just running for his life at the moment. One use ult as well. Cupid throwing it ult out there. Sobek under the ground. Going to get dashed on. Probably will die to all this action going on there. Taking a lot of damage there from the Cupid. Actually does manage to get out of there with his life. Carly doing really well at the moment. Seeing as everybody has the Fire Giant on. Attack Fire Giant. So the Fire Giant buff working. Nice. Just everybody's finishing up their builds. It's just really... The damage output from both teams is really high. Just going to work really well in their favours. So I'd like to... They just need to play a little bit defensively now, serious gamers. They've lost both main objectives. So they haven't really got... There's nothing apart from buffs and probably like creep waves that Attack Fire Giant can go for now. So they don't have to worry too much about that. They just have to worry about not losing another Phoenix. With 1 Phoenix down, you don't have to worry about too much going on to the Minotaur. But if you lose a 2nd Phoenix, then you're going to be in a bit of trouble. Because obviously there's going to be a lot of minions going into the Fire Giant, and then it starts becoming a problem. There's a bit more action. Carly going up against the Barkasura does force out both ultimates as well. Now, that tankiness is still working out really well for it, as well as the hide and Nemean line. Obviously, going back against Barkasura is going to cause a lot of damage to him, because he's quite a high DPS and low health. So it's just going to work nice. Carly obviously has full Aegis Amulet, which... Again, with that 20% reduction, once it fades off, it really helps. Now, Barkasura is going for the Gold Fury. It's going to solo that one really quickly. No one's going to be able to rotate it fast enough over to kind of stop this. So just going to get like 3 gold. As everyone in the game, apart from Barkus, actually, is level 20. So there's the extra gold going out there. Goes back up to a 9k lead again. Like I say, Serious Game has pulled back the gold deficit really well, and it's surprising how long they've held this game on for. But the problem, their main problem is that Bakasura. As soon as that Bakasura goes down, that's a lot of their DPS gone. Fair enough, Cupid and Poseidon do a lot of damage, but the Bakasura at the moment is their biggest problem. He's not there. Guan Yu's going in for the niche now. Girdle of the Might is popped out there. Cupid ult as well, and I've sped it up, wrong way. So we did a lot of damage. Freya ultimate go up there to kind of get her out. And Kali coming in there. Neef ult going in onto the Cupid. Cupid's going to be... Just, come on, one more attack. Aegis going out there on top of the Cupid. There's just, everyone's going for the Cupid. There was a dash coming up from Guan Yu to kind of help out there. Bakasura is back in there. He's going to take down Sobek. Sobek will go down. I'd like to see a Belch of the Gods coming out there from Bakasura, but not going to happen. So Guan Yu is backing off there. See, there's Bakasura's ultimate coming out there onto Kali. Kali does go down in the end. Bakasura goes down to the bleed effect from the Kali afterwards as well. So they've managed to get rid of the biggest problems. So Cupid and Bakasura, obviously the high damage dealers on the attack fire giant, are now both dead. While Neef and Freya are still alive for serious gamers. So we've got another a minute or so, I think, left on the fire giant. So they're not going to be able to get the fire giant uncontested. But they can at least push the creep waves down. Obviously get some XP, get some gold, push back at least. Just keep the farm going. Freya obviously, as a full build as well, hasn't got too much to worry about. Obviously with Gem of Isolation on the Freya, that slow from her 2 is going to be... It's so strong. So everyone's just working really well. Obviously Bakasura just needs... not Bakasura, Barkus is just trying to get as much gold as possible. Everyone could do with picking up some buffs. So like, I'd like Neef possibly to go around there, pick up some buff. They're just dropping some wards at the moment. So she could have got the blue buff. Probably could have got the cooldown reduction buff as well. But he's deciding just to go down and clear the creep wave at the bottom. Maybe she thought her creep wave would have been right behind her and so forth. But she needs to be a little careful there. We've got Poseidon and Vulcan round, so she can be slowed. But I don't think they'll be able to kill her. But shielded recall, obviously, split push. And like I said, the Kraken was the only ability that was going to stop that. And Neef got caught out there by the Kraken. I want to go back and watch that again. But I called it earlier. The Kraken worked. If she'd have backflipped and just run, she'd have got away. So that was like we have a game full of silly mistakes. I should like title this game "Silly Mistake Game." But it's just amazing how long it's going on for. Jesus, we're at 54 minutes now, and just. Yeah, it's just kind of sick. So, but just like I said, the silly mistake coming out from the Neef. She didn't need to go all that way up. There was nothing she could do. That she was just going to push the creep wave. Maybe she might have just wanted to kind of go for and just tank the tower a bit more. Obviously, with the Titan Bane helps out there. So Bakasura, look at that attack speed coming from him with the movement speed buff as well. It's like 10%. 10% attack speed as well on top, so it's just mad. Look at him go to town on that fire giant. Completely uncontested at the moment. Sobek's going to see this pretty much at the point where it's going to go down. Now, Barkus did have a girdle and decided not to try and take the steal. I would have rather seen him go for the steal, because at the moment now, attack fire giant has the fire giant buff. And it's just mad. And they just blew up that Sobek. Pretty much uncontested. Freya's just going to die. Use her ultimate to get out of there. Kind of gets pulled out by the cripple. And just the Cupid ultimate there as well. Just did so much damage to him. Well, yeah, to him. And I need to speed that back up. Hopefully we're going to start seeing a finish of this game. There's 2 down there for serious gamers. They've got the whole 5 team members on Attack Fire Giant. They can push this and win this. They've got the numbers, they've got the DPS, and yeah, they've just got the damage to kind of come out there from everybody. Neef drops a weave down there. Just gonna snare Guan Yu. Should have probably waited for maybe like a couple more people to kind of work out. Phoenix is gonna go down, and they can just push forward. They're going to push forward. Neef obviously got chased down there by Cupid. Not Sobek. Bakasura jumping in there as well. Obviously on the Kali. Kali getting the Deathbringer out. So she's gone for like more of a bruisery build towards the end. Starting to get, she's got the defense items in and the Deathbringer as well. So they're still not pushing forward. Girdle of Might, they're going to go for it now. Girdle of Might's out. They have to. They could kill this Minotaur so fast if they all just focused it. Barkus is there. Carly's coming in there. Obviously, Barkus just got blown up as well. Obviously, used the Kraken Heart Bomb. So now it's a 2-on-5. They can finish this up. Bakasura getting hit by the Minotaur. Needs to get out of the way. One more hit and he's going to go down. There he goes. Dies to the Minotaur. So there's a lot of DPS gone down there just from the Barkus alone. The Minotaur's not been touched. They're leaving that. Cupid getting hit on as well. Obviously, he's used his dash. Gets out past, obviously, them pillars. So then it loses aggro from the Minotaur. They need to just get on that Minotaur. Kill him down. Poseidon going down as well. They're losing so many people. Just silly, they could have gone in there. So there's Cupid, obviously, Aegis ultimate from Neef. Taking out, they just haven't killed anybody. Those 3 people, no, they killed Barkus, actually. They did kill Barkus. But they still couldn't push in 5 versus 3 to kill the Minotaur. They did so little damage. And I'll bring that back up to speed, actually, while we're back. So it's just uncomprehendable, really. What? You've got Girdle of Might, Fire Giant, Cupid, Bakasura, and who else they got? Vulcan obviously could do a load of damage as well, whereby his turrets. You could have run in there and just destroyed, with Girdle of Might, the Minotaur. Now, they could go for, I'd like to them to probably go for the Gold Fury. They could do with the extra. I'd just like to see engagement. But obviously, they're just going to go for the towers. They're pushing down, going for the towers. Left-hand side, it's going to, obviously, Sobek's going to tank that tower. Just waiting for that creep wave to go. And the right-hand side want to push. So they're doing really, like, the best thing they can do. They're split pushing. So even if they don't get the right tower, they're going to get this left tower. It's going to go down without fail. Sobek can tank that, obviously, himself really easy. The right-hand side, once I get over there, it's being taken down by Neef. So they're going to gain, just from that poor engagement over by the Minotaur, they've lost 2 towers, they've given away 2 kills, and they've given away 2 Fire Giant buffs on people. So obviously the Cupid and the Bakasura lost the Fire Giant's buff. So actually, I'm really rooting for serious gamers to kind of pull this back. They kind of got behind early on. Now they're going to go for the Gold Fury, obviously with the towers down. They're not going to get any Phoenixes down with the team fighting going on from Attack Fire Giant. So the Gold Fury at 50%. Sobek does have a level 1 Girdle of Might, so it's not really going to be able to do too much. Now, they need to finish this quickly. Poseidon is rotating around. We'll see this. Girdle of Might does go out. Obviously, being low level, which is not going to do too much, though. It does a little bit of damage. It works nice. So they pick up they just pick it up. They've pulled back the gold deficit. It's down to 5k. This is definitely a comeback game if you've ever seen one. Just everybody making mistakes and not capitalising on what the damage of what they've got is really helping out. Now they just let Carly come back from being completely worthless and just like a tank, just like a meat shield, to now she's actually going to start doing some damage. She's finished off that Deathbringer as well, so it's just more damage. The middle Phoenix is now respawned for serious gamers. So yeah, like you say, it's Attack Fire Giant has had this game to lose. Had this game and it was down to them to lose this, and they're actually losing it. They're just letting serious gamers come back. Bloody hell. There's just so much going on. Well, not so much going on. There's nothing going on at the minute. Everyone's just kind of looking at each other. Now I feel that if you can kind of see it, everyone feels like they're going to, that they can kind of win. They've done really well. Bakasura has gone and checked. Now the Fire Giant, they're gonna go for it again. Are they going to let this Fire Giant go? They have to know where they've gone. Obviously, they've got the DPS for it. Attack Fire Giant have got a really good kind of, well, not good rep, shall I say. They've done really well at securing Fire Giants this game. Everyone from Serious Gamers has gone left. What are they doing? They're just giving a fire giant away uncontested. Barkus has used his leap, so he can't do anything. They're going for the Phoenix. Are they just going to go for the push? So the fire giant has already gone down. Can they get the... They might actually get the Phoenix before they get back. They have to get this and get out of there. So they've let a fire giant go, which I feel was kind of like a really bad thing. They're going to go... Oh, die. There we go. Sobek's gone down. We just see everybody just get blown up. Which, I kind of see their idea. They wasn't... What they thought, which you can kind of guess, obviously, because of the last couple of baits that happened was going out. Sobek is going to go down there with that slow from the cripple with the whirlpool. I know what they thought was going on. They thought that they were that Attack Fire Giant had gone over to the Fire Giant buff and was baiting them out. Which even I would have seen... Only because, obviously, I've got Spectator. I've got the Eye of God. I can see what's going on. And I kind of know that they should have gone over there. But if Attack Fire Giant hadn't have attacked straight away, hadn't have, like pretty much spin on it the whole time and secured the kill straight away, Attack Fire Giant would have got that Phoenix. And would have just got the Phoenix. Obviously, Attack Fire Giant would have gone back to defend the Minotaur, but they would have secured an extra Phoenix. Well, the serious gamers would have... It was a risky move that could have paid off. It didn't. But I can see where they were going for this one. They've losing a bit more kind of gold deficit again, back up to like 6k, but it's still, from what they was, they're still doing really well. Like I said, the Fire Giant buff is out. They killed 3 members of Serious Gamers, and they haven't capitalised on it. Carly is in a wrong position. She's going to just die. There's just so much going to happen there. Obviously, she walked around the Phoenix in a silly position, put herself out to easily get taken down by the Guan Yu Amulet. She had nowhere to run. Maybe if an Aegis Amulet kind of prevented her. But everyone else is back up. The main damage dealers from Serious Gamers are alive. Barkus jumping in there, Intoxication going out there. Managed to get 3 people. Now, they need to watch out where there's Bakasura. Bakasura is at the side there. If they don't see him coming in there, they're going to be a little bit caught out. Nephalma going out onto Vulcan. Vulcan taking a lot of damage. Cupidol going out there. Bakasura is in the main group there. Throws out Creeping Curse. Takes down Freya. Like I say, you've got to kind of keep an eye out for that Bakasura. Bakasura in so much damage to Sobek. And, what was that? Was that like splash damage coming out there? And then the knee going down. So, Deicide coming out there onto the Serious Gamers. Like I say, you got to keep your eye on where that Bakasura is, because he's the main one you need to focus. So, Attack Fire Giant do eventually secure this game after an extremely long game. What was it, like a 63-minute game or something like that? But there was so many mistakes from both sides in that game, and it even give a Serious Gamers the advantage to kind of come back. So let's just see where the stats were coming from. So, Bakasura, 37k player damage. Let's have a look at Carly. Carly did 26k to Neef's 28k. So she did kind of come back a little bit more. Did really well. But Bakasura's creep damage, 372,000. Just double anyone else in the game. Just, his farm was so strong. You can look at that on, obviously, like the gold per minute. He's at 372 compared to everyone else. No one else has broken the 300 mark apart from Neef, which Neef was middle. So that kind of helps her out while there. So yeah, it's just, there was just a lot of people could do with watching this game and see where all these mistakes are coming from. And I hope people, obviously, if you've got this far, you've watched all the game, or most of the game. And I'm glad you've stuck out with me. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow with another match. Follow me at WristyUK on Twitter. And also check out my other channel. It's youtube.com/WristyUK. I do the old daily gameplays there as well. And just, yeah, keep following, keep watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.